There we go. Hopefully that's a wee bit better. I had to reset the writer. We will see if that makes that any better. That should be a wee bit more clearer than last time. So if any of you asked the name in the last live there and I missed it, apologies. We just had a really bad signal there. Like I say, new writer coming through, so we will Duffy, yeah, Duffy. We have Duffy's from Donegal and Duffy's from the Armagh area. Would be the two main prominent areas for the name Duffy. McReynolds down here from around Leitrim would be their main areas. They're part of the Cammuckna tribal group. They were rulers of land in Leitrim. So oh, hang on, we're just getting this turned into okay. Sorry, Savage, yeah, Savage is a Norman name. Came across with the Normans, and they took over primarily northeast Down, the Ards Peninsula. Has a lot of Portaferry was a strong point for theirs. They owned land on this side too, along with like the Fitzsimmons and other Norman families in the area. They came across with I believe de Courcy, so probably around 1172, and yeah, they set up shop on the Ards Peninsula. So they're found in this general area here. A couple of their castles are still exist in the area. Portaferry, Kirkeston, I believe, is one of their castles too. But yeah, they that's what it came. Martin's another Norman name that came across. So Martin came across, and they primarily settled over in Galway. I believe they're one of the 14 tribes of Galway, which were the 14 tribes of Galway city were merchant families that owned the mercantile and political life, ruled the mercantile and political structure of Galway city for about 400 years or so. So yeah, they is Burton actually an Irish name? My family's originally from Cork. Yeah, so Burton in its etymology is a Norman name. It came across or Norman and English. You'd have later English coming across with the plantations of Ulster. You would also have, but you'd have Burtons coming across with the Normans as well. There is the I can't remember the actual Gaelicization of the name. It's like O'Boracane, which gets anglicized to Burton. But I can't remember if it's a name that gets used by. So a lot of Norman names and English surnames obviously got given Irish names later on, and I can't remember if Burton's one of those ones that it doesn't have a native Irish origin, but it was given an Irish name later on. But they do tend to be found in Munster. Doyle, I have a video on the Doyles. I am a Doyle, but primarily Doyles are found in Leinster is probably the most common area for the name. but it's found anywhere really that there was a Norse settlement, not because the Doyles were Norse. So my family's from Banbridge. They're very unlikely that any of the Doyles are Norse. There is the Doilies from who were Norman that came across Ireland and anglicised the name to Doyle, and then you have the MacDowells who were Scottish Gallowglass of Norse descent who anglicised their name to Doyle as well when they came to Ireland, but primarily it comes from Dovegal, which was an Irish name before, or Dubgal, which was an Irish name before the Vikings ever set foot in Ireland, but mostly it's a name given to Irish people who were moving into Norse settlements. But I have a video on it if you want to explain a wee bit better. Maddens are part of the Ivina tribal group, so they're related to the likes of the O'Kellys. And they ruled in Galway. But South Galway, they're part of the the wider group of the Ivina. I did for anyone that has been on a live before. I thought they were hereditary physicians, but what happened was there was a famous physician with the surname Madden in the 17th century, and I presumed it was hereditary, so that was incorrect. They weren't hereditary physicians. Where's Castlebar on the map? Castlebar is over here, right in the middle. O'Shaughnessy are here. They were leaders of a tribal group called the Aoife-Graáine. Let me see if I've got a thing for that. This is the Aoife-Graáine, and that was who the O'Shaughnessy's were rulers of. Hi Keelich, how we doing? Look, Keelich. Let me just. We have the Lynches. Woo! Lynches. I've got a boring name. Lee and Smith. Well, Smith isn't a boring name. So anyone with the surname Smith, especially if you have hereditary sort of links to Leinster, the area was known. Let me see if I get you a wee map. So anywhere in this area here, in 1366 or 1367, there was an English law put in place, and what happened was that any Irishman living in the Pale had to change their name to either a job title like carpenter, smith, butler, or a town like Chester, or a colour like black, white or brown. And so many Irishmen became Smith because they changed their name. Most notably the McGowans. McGowan gets anglicised to Smith, so you could be a McGowan if you've got the surname Smith. Your husband will be all the best. Great. That's what I like to hear. That's great to see one happy customer. Yeah, but yeah, so if your surname's Smith, black, white, brown, Chester, your name's got an interesting history, all the same, whether you're able to actually link it to a specific family. Then it's still very interesting. Is Bell English or Scottish? Bell in etymology is Irish or Scottish. It primarily is found in England, but there are Scottish bells as well. But there is an Irish branch of the family as well. that anglicised the name to Bell, and that was the Magilla Anclag. Bell is in the name of their name, and they anglicised it to Bell. I can't remember where they're from, but yeah, they're I think they're from Ulster, but yeah, there is an Irish branch of Bells. Do Kavanagh? There's a couple of branches of Kavanagh. So we have probably the most famous branch of the Kavanaghs are the Kavanaghs who descend from the same line as the MacMurroghs. They descend from Kavanagh, who was the son of Dermot MacMurrough, who invite the individual king of Leinster who invited the Normans across to retake his kingdom. So the Kavanaghs tend to come from there. They're part of the wider tribal group called the Kinsillagh, which, so anyone with the surname Kinsella as well would be closely related. So you've got the Kinsillers, Kavanaghs, and MacMurroghs. They also have descent from the same tribe. But you also have Kavanaghs from Ulster, primarily in Derry, so yeah, and I believe they were earners, so hereditary landholding families within the church lands. Mate, Scottish born. Farley came over. Farley. Yeah, I mean it's a variation of Farrell. So it's a Longford surname. But you do get Farley's. The variations of the name. Farrell's one of these names that has a lot of. It's spread all over Ireland. So it's. But there's only one really branch that's famous, that's attested in the annals. But so it's because it's descended from O'Fergal, so it's found in like Cavan, it's found in Longford. Longford, it's a variation of Farrell. In Cavan, it's they're probably related to the Farrells. It's just a variation of the name. But yeah, in medieval Irish, I think it was Ferchella, so it became Ferchella, and it became Farley. But mostly it's found in Cavan and Longford. Why do the O's? Why did it drop the O's like O and burnt? So most of the O's and Macs were dropped in the 16th century after the Tudor conquest of Ireland, and then even more so with the Glorious Revolution, and the mass influx of English and Scottish settlers into Ireland. Troops from Cromwell's army, so the Tudors, the Cromwell's army, and then the Glorious Revolution. Well, but not in that order. Actually, the Cromwell was afterwards. But regardless, anyway. So you have a lot of people changing their names to adapt to the new system that's in place, the new Anglicised system of governance. So they drop the O's and the Macs to differentiate themselves from being Catholic primarily. They don't want to be seen, and showing homage or allegiance to the new governments that's in place. So it's almost showing loyalty towards England by dropping these O's and Macs and anglicising their names. So you'd have people dropping their O's and their Macs, but you'd also have the likes of McCowells becoming Campbells because they want to not stand out and end up with the discrimination that comes with it. And then in the 19th century, a lot of families put the O's and Macs back in their name, but some of them did it wrong. In fact, quite a lot of them did it wrong. Some families that never had an O before ended up with an O, like O'Doyle, and then some of the families that did have it ended up did have the O, ended up with the Mac. So yeah, it's quite common. Carrick, please. Yeah, from McCarrick. It's McCarrick. It's also, so Carrick is it's got a Norman origin. It's got a Scottish origin, um, and it's got an Irish origin. So there's quite a few, and it gets anglicized to Carrick, Carrick, McCarrick, de Carrick. So yeah, it's fine. You find it in Sligo. You find it in the Midlands, Sligo, Mayo, because obviously the borders that you see here did not exist in medieval Ireland. So these are 19th century constructions. So a lot of and newer. So a lot of them family names transcend these modern boundaries. But yeah, it's like I say, it's an Irish, Scottish, and Norman name, and you find it in Sligo, Longford, and Meath primarily. Hiya, is McDonald and McDonald the same? Yes. Although McDonald and McDonald does not, just because it's the same name, different spelling, there's different unrelated branches. So you have more famously the McDonalds from Scotland, who are descended from the MacDonalds, who are descended from Sir Marley, who was a Gol Gael king of the Hebrides, um, and he. This branch settled in Ireland in about the 14th century, taking lands from through a marriage alliance with the Bissets. But the family would also come across as Gallowglass, hired mercenary soldiers. But you also have MacDonald's, Irish MacDonald's, in Fermanagh and County Clare, if I can get down there quick enough. There you go. Who are native Irish branches coming from the Irish surname Domnall or Donal, and the McDonalds or McDonald's obviously become McDonald. There's also an argument put forward for the fact that the Donalds in some of them were O'Donnells, but in the 19th century they'd obviously dropped the O in the 16th century, and by the 19th century they put a muck in front of it instead of an O. So you will get some that are related to the O'Donnells as well. So yeah, it's an Irish, again, it's another name that's Irish and Scottish. So yeah, it gets a bit. Power is a Norman name. Let's go. I haven't got it on here, but Power is a Norman name, and it's found primarily in Munster. Hi, I'm trying to trace the Cole surname. Cole is another name that came across. Well, primarily, the way it's spelled, just a Cole, is English, obviously. But the problem with Cole is it's actually a variation of a lot of Irish names, unrelated Irish names. So it's related to the McCools, the Coyles, the Doyles, the McDowells. So there's quite a lot of McColes. So there's actually and then you have all those branches that aren't related. So if Doyle has 20 origin points, Cole and Coyle has 4 origin points, unrelated families. You've got 2 names in which Cole can descend from, but you've got 24 unrelated families already in which it can descend from. So it's quite a difficult name to. Hi John, Johnny, thank you very much for your subscription to the Ear Fina. I really do appreciate that. Thanks for supporting the channel. Any of you that are gifting, the gifts are great, but you don't have to gift to get your name done. This is all free service. But but I do appreciate the support of the channel. But if you have a bit of loose change, if you want to become a subscriber, like Johnny5 here, we have members only lives on roughly around the middle of the month, where you don't have to fight 700 people amongst my 2 chats to get your name mentioned, and I also do the chats tailored towards family names, so you'll get a bit more information, maps and slides and stuff. So if you really want to, that'd be great. But if not, well, just stay and enjoy the crack. So yeah, Cole is one of those names that unfortunately you're going to have a very hard time linking it to a specific clan. Um, it's much like my own name Doyle. It's a which like I said can become a Cole. It's just a nightmare. From uh, Tell me about the MacArthurs. My family is from the Isle of Iona. MacArthurs tend to be now, not all of them, but tend to be a branch of the Campbells. Actually, the senior line of the Campbells. Before they were Campbells, they come from the tribal group that married into the O'Dooneys, which the Campbells claim descent from through that marriage. Um, the MacArthurs were the eldest son of that or the eldest line of that marriage. So, but the Campbells obviously rose to power and became more dominant. So most Arthurs, but obviously Arthur's a very common surname. There's an Irish branch of MacArthur's from Limerick, as well. I'm not aware of the MacArthurs of Iona. Iona was tended to be McAllisters and McKinnons. But obviously, just because they're the two main ruling families within Iona, I'm not sure if maybe MacArthur's came in a wee bit later. But yeah, primarily Arthur is, you know, in Ireland it has multiple origin points. The MacArts, so you've got MacArthur's in Limerick who are Irish. You have O'Harts, which actually is a variation of MacArthur. So it's a very common surname with multiple origin points, um, all over Ireland. So it's yeah, but in Scotland they have a very prominent pronounced history. So um, and yeah, so I hope that sort of answers some of the I do like them. If you watch my Campbell video, I sort of on YouTube long form, I sort of explain a wee bit about that. Um, the about the origins of the Scottish surname and stuff like that. So, and I apologize in advance for the loud music. It was before I figured out how to edit music, and even then, even now, it's not that great. Yeah, it's a bit of a terrible one. I've been trying to research the name Payne for a long time. Payne is a pain. Yeah, it's a primarily it's a. I'm unaware of an Irish family taking the surname Payne as their own. Um, but it is found all over Ireland. The hotspots for it tend to be like Donegal, Derry area, Meath, and if I remember rightly, there's a branch in Connacht as well, somewhere South Connacht. Um, that's where the name tends to sort of be from, um, and obviously we know that Irishmen are adopting English surnames. But I am unaware of an Irish family taking the surname Payne, um, apart from um, uh, um, uh, I can't even remember what it was. It's gone it's gone escaped my brain. But yeah, like I say, more likely it's a Norman name, so it's come across with the Normans. McNabb, I hear we were not lawful. I mean, I get a bit whenever people sort of say, the families were, rebellious or, you know, uh, 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 some line surely would have had, would have had a unruly line, shall we say? But by and large, most people just got on about their day as best they could. But McNabb obviously means son of an abbot, and it's a name that came across primarily with the plantations. There could quite possibly be Irish branches of the name, but by and large, most of them came across in the early modern period in the 17th century. So, not outlaws. No, I mean, really, if you want to go, who are the most defined, definitive outlaws for each period? Just, you know, we have varying periods where the O'Neills, the McGregors, you know, they're outlaw. The O'Neills are outlaws to the Elizabethans. The McGregors are outlaws to the Stuart monarchy. The O'Byrnes are have a phase where they are just Fiacre O'Byrne was leader of the O'Byrnes in the 16th century, and he's just an all-out chaos for the English. We have the O'Connor Faileys that have a brief period of that too. They wax and wane. Families are not their families are very mobile in there. It wasn't our laws to be out. Can you do Coleman? Coleman's primarily English, but there was a clan Coleman, which the McLaughlins here from Meath descend from, and I've always wondered whether anyone took the name Coleman from Clan Coleman, because it's found in that proximity too, so it seems most likely that you would have Colemans in there. Someone pointed out to me the other day, though, it seems to be one of the very few surnames with a man, Coleman at the end of it, in Ireland. So it would seem very strange for it to be an Irish name. But like I say, most Irish families are adopting English names in the 16th century. There are Irish variations of the name, I don't know if it's something that's happened later. I'm pretty sure I read recently, though, there is Cliffords, the Cliffords of Kerry, who the Clifford isn't their original name. Clifford's an Anglicization, but the family name from which they originate from also may have took Coleman as a name. So anywhere you see the surname Clifford, there's a possibility that it's a Coleman too. I haven't done much research into that, but I'm led to believe there is a Coleman in Kerry and surrounding areas. And the last but not least branch of the family with a possible Irish link is from Sligo, who are from the Fiacre king group. They were originally like Collimon in Irish, or from Colum, and they've become Columman, Coleman. But yeah, it's a name that seems to have multiple origin points again. Johnny, thank you very much for the hats, and Daniel Gordon, Michelle, Life of Melee, Billy June, Bigfoot, Dana, Miss Fine, Spike Sean, D Murphy, John Sabrina McDonough, D Murphy, Cat. Hey, I'm Steve. I didn't see you. Thank you very much, Steve, if you're still in the chat. Mark, Rhonda, thank you so much for all the gifts. Rebecca, Tasha, and Kristen, and Bernie, Wolfeaser, thank you very much as well, and Shelley Red, thank you so very much. So, Murphy, I have a video on the Murphys. But primarily, mostly associated with Leinster. Anyone with the surname Murray as well sometimes gets anglicised to Murphy, and vice versa. So Murphys and Murray are very interchangeable. Comes from the Irish name Murica. So there's a lot of branches of the surname, but like I say, check out the video on TikTok. You'll see all the branches I've sort of marked down. But it can be found pretty much anywhere in Ireland. It is not of Norse descent. Anyone that tells you they're a Viking because they're a Murphy, it's incorrect, unfortunately. Yeah. Do you know which line of Campbells were connected to Princess Diana? No, I'm guessing it's not the Irish Campbells. It's probably Scottish Campbells. um, the Campbells all descend from I can't remember his name. The Campbell who fought with Robert the Bruce. Um, Taylor, thank you very much for the subscription to the Ear Fina. I really do appreciate that. I hope to see you on the members only live. I'll release the dates in which when it is. But it normally happens in the middle of the month. Yeah, I hope to see you. I hope you see there. So thank you very much for supporting the channel. I really do appreciate it. O'Sheldon. Nope, I've never heard of O'Sheldon. If I'm honest, I believe it was O'Sheldon before in Ellis Island. Ellis. I've never heard of it. I've heard of the surname Sheldon, obviously, but I've never heard of a branch of Sheldons. I'll have to look into that for you. That's very interesting. If there's an O'Sheldon from, I've never come across it though. Thy instigator. So thank you very much for bringing it to my attention. I always love it when I come across a name I've never seen before or heard before. It's always great to sort of. I mean, there's up to 6,000 surnames, so you know, I haven't researched them all or seen them all. You know, I've probably got about I probably know a couple of thousand. But yeah, it's always great to see. Mangan, yeah, Mangans. There's like 3 Mangans. There's in Ireland, like 3 known branches in Ireland. Primarily, we find it in sort of like Mayo, Sligo area. It's found in Fermanagh, and it's found in Cork as well, down here. So it can be Mongan, Mangan, Mannion, Manning. They're all sort of variations of each other, but primarily those are the 3 points of contact. You've got bad crackling, whatever you're using. Okay, let me see if I can adjust that. Is that any better? Let me know if that's any better. I didn't see who called me. Please repeat Murphy video location. The videos on TikTok. Top of my, I think it was one of the last videos I did. So it should be at the very top of TikTok. So, okay, Taylor, thank you very much for bringing that to my attention. I didn't, I have 2 microphones, one for YouTube, one for TikTok, and they were probably too close together, because I just moved them apart. Anyway, sorry. So yeah, if you go to, and I've ever heard the name Purcell, I have indeed as well. Purcell is another name that's primarily associated with the Norman invasion of Ireland. Purcell is an English sort of Norman name, but check out the and they're found in Kilkenny, just so you know as well. Purcells. I think if you watch my Butler video, I actually map a load of the Purcell castles in Kilkenny. We'll put them on there so you can, but they're in northern Kilkenny, up here. So yeah, I've mapped a load of their castles on my Butler video. It was because the Butlers were their overlords. So, Kinsella is here. They're related to the Kavanaghs and the McMurroghs, and they are from the tribal group called the Kinsellug. This group here. And they anglicized the name to Kinsella, But like I said, they're related to the Kavanaghs and the McMurroghs, so they're found in South Leinster. Collins is found all over Ireland. Primarily, the most famous branches originally from Limerick. In the 14th century, the family moved down to Cork, and under the protection of the McCarthys, due to the O'Briens and the Fitzgeralds knocking seven cells at them. They're part of the tribal group called the Econal Gavra, and they were originally from Limerick. So you'll find the name mostly over Munster and Limerick. Flynn has quite a few branches, one including up here in Ulster. It's probably one of the more sort of famous lines of the family. I believe they are part of they're an old name for that area, not a new one like the O'Neills or something. I believe they were part of the Dalriada King group. They certainly are in the right area for it, but the problem why I'm not so sure on it is because you've also get Flynns in Tyrone, who are part of the O'Neills, or a branch of them, or related to them through the Canaloan. It's also very common in Roscommon and Mayo as well. There are unrelated lines there. So Flynn's. Is O'Kelly the same name as Kelly? Yes and no. We have English Kellys and Scottish Kellys as well. So there's quite possible that you have, you could be one of them. And there's also a lot of O'Kellys in Ireland. O'Kellys. It is the same name. A lot of families dropped the O in the 16th century. So there's quite possibly you could be from these Kellys. But there is a Scottish branch of the name and an English branch of the name spelled the exact same. There are a lot of O'Kellys in Ireland from different branches. We have O'Kellys who were kings of Ivina. We have O'Kellys who were kings of Brega. Not related. We have Kellys that are from the kingdom of Cula. I've got a video on them, a short video on them. We have an O'Kellys from Ulster, from County Down. We also have O'Kellys from Derry as well that are unrelated families too. So you get, and obviously like I say, you've got some of the plantation coming across, the Kellys from the plantations here. I put an O on this, ignore it, it's a spelling mistake. And you'd have had Kellys coming across with the English. Murphy, I have a Murphy video. Just go onto the TikTok page and watch that. It'll explain all the Murphys you could ever want. Information, because there's quite a few unrelated branches. So yeah, it's better to go watch it. Geary, please, yeah, Geary's. Let's go over to here. So the Geary is from Gavra or Gary, and they're related to the O'Haras, and their names are almost sort of interchangeable, but they're primarily from Sligo. So Geary is often found in Sligo, Mayo, that sort of area. But it's a variation. It tends to be a variation of O'Gara, and it's linked to O'Hara. So Geary, that is the main branch of O'Donnell. Can we do Higgins? Trying to trace family. Higgins is a great name actually. Higgins means like son of the Viking. You know, it's one of the very few names that seems very prominent that it could be a Viking name. Although actually most Higgins, even though the Norse left very few paternal genetic imprint in Ireland, because they never held that much land in Ireland, compared to in comparison to England and Scotland, they didn't really hold that much sway in Ireland, but they were integrated into Irish society. They were speaking Irish, or intermarrying. They were fostering children, Irish children, and same giving their children not to be fostered. When they've done the Higgins genetic test, they've obviously found that more Higgins are Irish than Norse, but they do find Norse lines in the Higgins names. So it's quite possible that actually the term son of the Viking may have some element of truth behind that for a very small number of Higginses, which is interesting. Primarily, they're found in Sligo as well. They're associated with Sligo, shall we say? I believe they're associated with pretty much most of the region down the Shannon River. You find them down in towards Clare and stuff like that as well. So, which would make sense when the Vikings or Norse are using the Shannon River as a motorway up the island. So they're all in good hotspots for Norse contact, shall we say. And also we have to remember, not all Irishmen were going Viking too. They were taking part in the raids and stuff as well. So it's very possible. It's also an English name as well. I just want to point out as well, for anyone that's sort of there, Higgins is also an English name. There was a Higgins branches that came across during the plantations. So, and whenever people are trying to search their genealogy of a specific line, it's a very complicated relationship. And also you have the Higgins of the southern Aeneal, so they were related to the Nile of the Nine Hostages distantly from Meath. So you have these sort of branches all over. It's very hard to just pin down one and say, oh, I must be from them. Ed C, welcome to the clan. I really do appreciate that. I hope to see you on the members only live on what day are we on? Probably in the next 2 weeks. Oh, hang on. Do you know what? I had the wrong. So thank you very much for supporting the channel, and I really do appreciate it. Oh, hang on. Sorry, YouTube. Samuel McCleary. Oh, I'm so sorry. Aiden, Kat, Wayne. I do apologize. I had the live open earlier, and it crashed through the internet, and I still had the old live chat up, not the new one. So I was not seeing any new comments in there. Samuel, are you still here? Kat, well, hi, why so early? Kat, remember I said I'd do a daytime stream today. And I can never stream on a Friday evening. So Morgan, thank you. Sorry, so sorry. Yeah, rookie move. I know Airborne Entertainment. I know. I do apologize for missing the YouTube chat. I'm just wondering if Samuel's still here, or if he just gave up and went, nah, he's not reading it. I'm just waiting. Oh, I forgot. No, it's alright, Kat. Yeah, it's just because I owed you all alive because of the signal and that I've been having. I've changed provider, so we'll see how that goes. Oh, good man, tech happens. Well, that's good. As long as people understand, I'm just kind of hoping. I know that the guy at the top there, Samuel, was in the chat. Hopefully he's probably gone now. But let me see. So, would you have any information on the Tomi? The oldest recorded relative I know was born in 1837 and lived in Coachford in County Cork, 16 miles west of Cork City and 8 miles east of Macroom. Excuse me. Sorry. So I wouldn't know anything about an individual or the family histories of the 18th century. It's not my area of expertise. But the Tumis themselves, just in their like origin story and their traditional narrative, they claim to be related to the Dalcassians, so related to the likes of the O'Briens. Um, but their location is in County Cork, modern day County Cork. So they're obviously a new addition to the area, as in they've moved into the area probably in the 11th, 12th century. Um, but by and large, they do associate their to being a Dalcash, not of the Oanoctor, which most of their neighbours would have been. So yeah, they are found in that area. It looks like your family hadn't moved too far from their ancestral land, shall we say? Um, oh, you deleted it. Message retracted. Message retracted. I can't. Oh, McKeown, please. Yeah, McKeown's son of John. So any people with the surname John as well, and these can all be an Owen as well. So the O'Neills have a McKeown branch up in Ulster. Greetings from Newfoundland. Greetings. So a branch of the O'Neills is McKeown's. You have quite a lot of unrelated families in McKeown's. Anyone that was, like, say, the surname John, the surname Owen, would sometimes anglicize their name to McKeown. Or McKeown. They're all sort of variations of the same sort of name. There's a branch down in Galway too, as well. So it can be found all over Ireland. Primarily, though, it's mostly found in Ulster. Like I say, it's mostly found in Fermanagh, Tyrone, and County Down. So they're the main sort of areas there, but they all descend from different branches. They're not related. So yeah. Double barrel names, last names often appear in Irish Heritage. Any information on Blaney Murphy? No, I mean, I would just associate them as being two different names. In Irish history, what you assume is a second surname is not a surname per se. It's more of a nickname to differentiate between different branches. The O'Sullivans from Monaghan and Kerry, even today, if you go to Kerry and you say you're an O'Sullivan, because it's such a popular name, because the family, large groups of the family, moved into Kerry in the 13th and 14th century, and they ended up owning about 40% of the land in Kerry. You'll have like they mostly use Irish sort of nicknames and stuff, but we'll just for an argument's sake we'll just use an example. So you'll have the O'Sullivans of the Hill, the O'Sullivans of the Road, the O'Sullivan Yellows, the O'Sullivan Blacks, the O'Sullivan Whites, and that tells every O'Sullivan in the area what branch you're from, so you avoid marrying your too close a cousin. And that's an old Gaelic thing to do in a clan area where you have a million McCarthys. You need to know that your relationship to so you're not marrying too close in. So it's not so much that the double-barreled surnames. Double-barreled, as in like prominent surnames, is more something that you would see coming across with the English nobility when they were having multiple, because it's a branch of your mother and father's name. Your mother's name didn't really matter in Ireland, because the way that inheritance worked. Pettigrew is an English and Scottish name. It's an English and Scottish name, not an Irish name. So they would have come across with the plantations in the early modern period. Any information on the McGowans? McGowans are most often Smiths. Anyway, you see Smith in Ireland today, there's a good chance that they are or were originally McGowan. Obviously, it's got Scottish branches too, so you know, it's found in a lot of places. You'd have McGowans coming across from Scotland in the plantation. It's mostly associated. It's in McGovern's a variation too. We can put you on the map. Actually, I feel like McGowan's. I have managed to put more names on since we last spoke, everyone. Let me just do this. Oh no, hang on. Technical due to technical difficulties. We were unable to do that. So yeah, so there's the Cavan branch there, and then we have the McGowans of of Donegal. Hang on, no. How do I scroll out? Give me a second. McGowan. And the McGowans of Donegal are earners, hereditary earners. So they own church lands, and they're from Raphoe. So I can't remember the name of the church. But yeah, they're hereditary earners. So they're landholding families within the church. So, but like I say, the McGowans in Scotland too, multiple branches of McGowans. So they can be found in all over. There's also a chance that your family, because O'Gowan exists as well, and O'Gowans are from Fermanagh. And then there's another variation of the name. I can't remember what they're called, but there's O'Gowan. There's also two smaller branches found in Tyrone and Down. But O'Gowans as well. So there is a possibility that your family maybe in the 18th century put a Mac instead of an O, as they'd got rid of it. So yeah. So that you're primarily looking around Ulster if you're a McGowan. Gannon, I'm not aware of the name Gannon. Shane McGowan and the Pogues, yeah. Oh, clicking the news, that might just get me told off by YouTube. Who we talk? Gannon. I don't know of any Gannons, but I know Cannons, which can be a variation. The O'Cannons were with the earlier kings of Donegal before the rise of the O'Donnells, and then they would be could be a argument for them having the oldest surname in Ireland. O'Leary. So the O'Learys were part of the Cork O'Leary, which was the tribal group that ruled Munster before the McCarthys. That was ruled by the O'Driscolls. The O'Driscolls are the main line, but the O'Learys are a branch of them. So yeah, there's you can have again, like, I don't know all the branches of the surnames. There's a lot of them that that I just don't know, because they're not really in the records. Talon, yeah, Talon is a Norman name. Talon is a Norman name, mostly found in Leinster. Monaghan or Monaghan. Monaghan are related to the Maddens. It's normally spelt like that. Let me change that to green, because it is a Irish name. But your variation is a variation of that name. So they're found in Galway and stuff like that. So Maguire, please. Yeah, Maguire are from Fermanagh. Biggest family in Fermanagh. They are so originally they were part of the earlier kingdom of Archela. So the kingdom of Archela was this one, um, and the kingdom of Archela owned most of sort of Tyrone, South Down, Armagh, Monaghan, uh, uh, um, Louth, and Fermanagh. And then with the rise of the O'Neills, they kind of crushed a lot of them, and then it was split into sort of two kingdoms. You had the McMahons and O'Carrolls ruling this Monaghan part of Archela, and you had the Maguires ruling the Fermanagh area of Archela. So yeah, it gets there's quite a few. There's quite a few of Archela sort of surnames, and they obviously, like most Irish tribes, when they move into a new area, they adopt the name of the old tribe as their own, the kingdom name of the tribe, because kingdoms are named after the tribe, so they'll just adopt it. So that's why we have Fermanagh, land of the Manach, and that's Fermanagh. So yeah, it gets obviously has a links to them. So excuse me. Vegan. Yeah, vegan's actually a variation of a lot of names. Vegan, vegan, all those sort of variations. Fian, fehan. So yeah, it's mostly found in Connacht though, but I'm not aware of the tribal group that's associated with. But it's I've not really sort of looked into it, but it's found in Connacht primarily, like the Roscommon area. So they could be part of either one or two groups. If I was to guess, in Roscommon it's ruled by the Ivina and the Silmuridi. And the Silmuridi are part of the Ebruin tribe. So let me just, because that can be a bit confusing for people that don't know much about tribal groups in Ireland. So this is the Silmuridi, this is the Evina, and the Silmuridi are a cadet branch of the Ebruin. Because this is in the wrong place. This should be here. Okay, so the Fagans are found right in the middle. So I don't know without researching it and going back and checking, they're found in Roscommon. So the chances are they're a branch of this guy, so they're related to the likes of the O'Connors, or this guy they're related to the likes of the O'Kellys. But that is the area they're from. That is primarily where it's found, so it's one of the two things. But when I do the video, I will research which one it is. It's just kind of hard. Because there's a lot of overlaps in territory and land and families, it's kind of hard to remember who everyone, unless they were a really, really important family, like the O'Kellys, O'Connors. It's kind of hard to know who they're all related to. O'Hagan has a couple of branches. One is an Anglicization of the Hoganes of Donegal. And they are related to the Kennel Owen. They're related to the likes of the O'Dohertys. This is them there, and so you have that group who anglicized their name to Hagan. They're but there's another branch too that are from Tullyhogue, the O'Hagans. So you have O'Hogan and O'Hagan, both are interchangeable, and you have the O'Hagans who are from Tullyhogue, and they were the inaugurators. They put the big crown. Well, there was no crown, but you know what I mean. They put the big crown on the O'Neills of Tyrone's head. Let me just get this back. Oh, hang on. Let's just get this. TikTok, you messing with my life. Messing with my life. Not my life, my life. Okay. Right, I need to get my TikTok, my YouTube back up. There we go. There we go, YouTube's back. Right. Um, Hang on, I just need to shut my door behind me. Ah! Pull my microphone out the wall. Okay, where were we? Where were we? Someone said Elliot earlier. I wanted to share. I like Elliots are a Norman family, but they moved to the Highlands and started adopting the clan system. And then they were moved down to the lowland Scotland areas and became Border Reivers. And they were the only Border Reiver family that operated in the clan system way. A lot of people think that, you know, like Armstrongs were a clan, or the Bruces were a clan, and they weren't clans. The Fitzgeralds and the Butlers weren't clans. Only Gaelic families were clans. The argument for that is the fact that the way that they operated, such as inheritance, succession, and structure. The Bruces, the Armstrongs, and stuff were dynasties, which is why you're clans and dynasties. But yeah, the Elliots. There's a case for the Muck Elligots maybe having anglicised their name to well, they're Norman actually. I don't know why I did that in green. They're part of the being anglicising their name to Elliot, but I've never checked it. So yeah, it's there's that's the Elliots. Any information on the O'Daly's? I forgot. Do you know what? Cat, I'm just gonna have to send you that, aren't I? The information I've got on the O'Daly's. You're terrible when it comes to the O'Daly's. I started putting the O'Daly's in, actually, to be fair. So there is a small bunch that I've come across up here from Inishowen, but I've not researched them yet. I just came across them earlier, and I think they may be the ones that were hereditary bards for the O'Reillys. So yeah, these ones were. I'm going to make these a little bit bigger too. Hang on, and I think the O'Reilly should be a little bit bigger too. Yeah, so they were hereditary bards for the but it's possible that the other O'Daly, they could be part of these O'Dalys. Who were found in Longford, and then we also have scroll down if I can. There we go. We also have a branch in Meath. I'm too cloned in, too zoomed in. As well. So yeah, so the O'Dalys of Meath, the O'Dalys of Longford, and the O'Dalys of Tyrconnell are the three sort of main branches. But I don't know if they're related or not. Whether they earned like land through their work as bards. So, you do have a few branches that may or may not be related. I haven't researched if they're related yet. I probably would save that research for whenever I do a video on them. For anyone wondering why I haven't done a video recently, the next video will be the O'Reillys. But the reason I haven't done a video is because I'm working with a TikTok coach to improve some of my content. I'm not happy with the way it comes out. So I've got a good colleague of mine who works in this sort of thing, and he's going to give me some pointers that I can produce better stuff for you guys. But anyway, Kenny's, one Kenny is from Tyrconnell, the O'Kennys from Tyrconnell, and then you have the O'Kennys who are part of part of the Eviner, but probably more closely related to the O'Madden lines. Oh, not O'Lenny. So these are your O'Kennys. It comes from O'Coinich or Macoinia. So there are a lot of variations of the name and probably a lot of unrelated branches. I think even Quinn can get anglicized to Kenny. Kenny, Canna, Canny. So there's a lot of variations, a lot of branches. But those are two of the main ones anyway. Brennan has a lot of branches. The most famous lines of Brennans are the Brennans of Kilkenny, and they are the part of the Dalburn king group, so they're related to the likes of the Fitzpatricks, who are here, and the land they ruled was part of Idua. So they're found there. They are found over as part of the Evina too. So they're related to the likes of the O'Maddens and the O'Kellys and all that good stuff. So there's a couple of there's a branch up in Meath as well. The O'Brennans in Meath, I believe they're part of the Southern Neil. So Brennan has a few other branches as well. I can't remember where they are. I'm looking quickly on my map. Do you know what? I actually put this in so I could find this. No, that. Oh, that's right. Sorry, I remember now. And then Brennan's over here in the O'Sullivans. Couldn't remember where the last branch were from. Who don't so the original Irish variation is like the O'Brennanes or Brennan. But the O'Sullivans, the branch who are related to the O'Sullivans, they're a cadet branch of them. It comes from the Irish surname Brannan, which is a different name, but it got anglicized to Brennan. So, what do you know about the Mooies or the McBrides of Antrim and Cork? Well, if they're McBrides of Antrim, I'm probably going to guess they're either Scottish from the Kilbrides McBride family, but also we have the McBrides of Inishowen, which isn't too far from Antrim, and they are a branch of the O'Dohertys, and they can also be anglicised to Kilbride too. So you do have that sort of overlap between the two names, but like I say, they are not related. They come from two different lines, but yet their surnames, both surnames, are interchangeable with each other. So it is possible that they are related. Maybe the possible Scottish branch in Antrim is actually an Irish branch, who's just sort of sailed across the wee sea there. But I wouldn't know without looking into that a bit more detail. The Moonies are a little bit different. So with the Moonies, you have a branch here. Let me put them in Roscommon, and these guys are related to the Evina. Oh, where am I on a stop? I'm on a. Hang on. Why is that doing that? Is that better? Let's see. Yeah. So they're. Oh, okay. Hang on. How do I move this to? I need to get this back. Trying to figure this out. Give me a second. Anyway, you have Moonies here in Russell who are part of the, like I say, who are part of the Evina, and then you have the Moon. Cannot move this tool because no layers are selected. I don't want to select a layer. Oh, hang on. Take rid of all that. Well, this. There we go. Problem solved. Right, okay. So let me start that again. Um, so yeah, the Moonies of Iviner. Then you have the Moonies of the Efiakramui. So I wonder if that's where they took the name from. Um, who are related to the likes of the O'Dowds. And then you have uh, the Moonies of down here. I don't know who they're related to though. They could be part of the Efiakra Anya as well, the tribal group there. Just for context, for those people who just think I'm speaking a weird language, Efiakra Anya is the tribe in South Galway and North Clare, and the Efiakra Mui are from North Galway. So, so yeah, Sweeney. Yeah, I've done Sweeney before. Scottish family, hard gallo glass, mostly found in Antrim. I have a full video that in Donegal. I have a full video of them on YouTube though. Just quickly, Justine, Jennifer, Zach, Jamie James, Cheryl Lynn, Bruce Brennick, Green Granny, Looping in Lizzie, Patricia, 1,365,024.4, Looping Lizzie, I've done that. Nat One F Queen, IE Lefty, Tom McGuire, Johnny, Cherry, Bill Doralson, K, Wolf Key, Chevy, Taylor I, thank you so very much. Duchess, Watson Tribe, Mary Lee, Joan, Chloe, Kev, Duchess again, Innermost Flame, Rick, Lovely, Mally, Mr. Scotty Scott, Ruth Darling, Rebecca Davies, Shannon Tasha Lou, Bernie Woo Donnelly, thank you so very much for all the gifts. You don't have to gift to get your name put on here. I will try and get through as many names as I can, although we're not on for much longer. And if I don't get you now, I'll get you on the live tomorrow night as well. So I will try and get through as many as I can. You do not have to gift. You do not have to get your name mentioned. But I do appreciate it. It really does help the channel. Callum, surname Callum is has got a few origin points. It's mostly found in sort of Fermanagh is found in sort of on the edge of Fermanagh or Monaghan. So it's kind of found in both, and Longford. There's two sort of origin points of it. It could be from Column, or there's even a suggestion that it's like a variation of from Columba, as in it's the servant of Columba, who was obviously the patron saint. Well, he was a saint in Iona, originally part of the O'Donnells. So they could. I'm not sure. They may be earners of a church. Let me check on my little list here if they're earners that unchurched. No, I don't have any suggestions. But anyway, if they're followers of Columba, it's quite possible that they were also found on Iona as well. So they'd probably be a Scottish name as well. So Scottish and Irish. No, they weren't. I can't find anything of them being earners, but I will check. O'Shea, I have a video on the O'Sheas on TikTok. But here you go, O'Shea. They are from the Cork Adivna tribal group. Yeah, they kind of get slapped by the O'Sullivans and the McCarthys in the 14th century, and they kind of disappear. I am working on their long form video at the minute though, so which will explain why they don't disappear completely. Obviously, we have them today, but they disappear as a land holding family. They end up becoming more administrative roles within clans by then. So, oh, losing my voice. Need to make sure. Hughes have loads of branches. I have a Hughes video on TikTok if you want to check it out. But primarily it's found in Tyrone. It's found in Donegal, all the way down to Sligo, Roscommon, all the way down this border between Connacht and Meath, and that's purely because it means the son of John, son of Owen, no, son of A or son of E. I was thinking of McKeown there. Son of A or E, which was an Irish name, so it's also related to the likes of McGee, Mackay, McKay, Keys. They're all variations of the same name. So, but check out the McHugh video. It goes through some of the branches for you. Yeah. So, right. I'm actually losing my voice, so I may have to make this the last one. And then we'll pick it up again tomorrow. Because I don't want to lose my voice before then. I have two names that I've seen here that a lot of people have asked for. I'll get to the 2 seconds. Let me just finish yawning. So quickly, what do you have on the Craig surname? I only know that's a Scottish surname. I don't know of any Irish Craigs, if I'm honest. That doesn't mean they don't exist, but I'm only aware of the Scottish Craigs, unfortunately. And the McDermotts. McDermott comes from a couple of places. McDermotts of Inishowen, who are a branch of the O'Dohertys. We also have the more famous McDermotts from Moylurg, who are part of the Silmurady tribal group, so they're related to the O'Connors. But it can also be anglicised to O'Dermid. I've got a variation there. McDermott, Dermot, Dermot. So there are a lot of other wee branches scattered around Ireland. I don't have them all here yet mapped, but those are two of the most prominent ones. That they're not related, so yeah. But I've got a Doyle video on the channel. Right. Who was that? Let me just 2 seconds. And then right. So and the last name that we'll do for the live is sorry, I'm just clearing my throat. Is we'll do eeny meeny miny mo. Cronin. Cronin is a Cork name. So they're related to the likes of the O'Driscolls and the O'Learys, because they're part of the Cork O'Leary tribal group. So they were part of the kingdom that ruled Munster before the rise of the McCarthys and the Owenocta tribal group. So when the Owenocta rose to power, Des Mumu, these Owenocta, they kicked out the Cork O'Leary, Cork O'Loigda, however you want to pronounce it, and the Cronins were a branch of that. So my granddad was Cronin and O'Leary, both distantly related to each other through the same tribal group, but you're talking like, over 1,000 years ago. Right, so that's it. I'm gonna end it there. Country cousins, yeah, exactly. So I'm gonna put them on the map as I end the live for today, but I will be back tomorrow for an unusually timed live, as in, like, I don't normally go live on Fridays and Saturdays. It's normally Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, but we've been having internet issues, so I'm making up the lives I missed on Tuesday and Wednesday for you guys. If you've become a subscriber, thank you very much again. I'll see you on our members only lives as well. Keep an eye out for them, and where I'll do a bit more of a talk for you guys. I really appreciate the support, Nathan, McElmee, Rain, Bean, Alex, Carol. Thank you very much for the gifts. Sarah with the curls, Claire, Ashleen. Thank you very much, Monica Ross. I really do appreciate the support. Sorry if I didn't get to your name today. There's the Monaghan's. But I will try and get through them tomorrow. Carol's are up here. And we've got another Carol down here. But I'll speak to you all soon. Thanks, very interesting sub. Thank you very much, James. YouTube with the members only live. Obviously, I'll see you then as well, but I'll see you on Tuesday. So thank you so very much, James, for a subscription. Thank you all who follow. I'll speak to you all soon. And YouTube, I'm going to end you now as well. So thanks very much, Kat. I'll speak to you soon. Oh, I'll definitely speak to you soon, Kat. Take care now. Bye bye.